Eso, this whole thing is airtight. Don't be an idiot. I've talked to Batko. There's no trick out of this.
Oh man, I got owned? And it's airtight? Oh boy, I guess we gotta see this video.
Now what's strange about this is the esoteric entity is keen on giving the evidence to Mr. Davidin to use this as a form of slander against leftist YouTubers.
No, seriously, there's a video which owns me and the evidence is airtight. Where is it? Wait a minute. For your sake, you better hope this isn't it, because videos like these are how you implode your reputation eternally in the course of a single afternoon. So, I'm almost certain that everyone here has seen, or at the very least heard of the video that Batko the Manarchist has made about me. Well, this is actually great because I've been meaning to make a video on Batko for quite some time now. But Batko is marginally more intelligent than most commies, especially ancoms, because he doesn't make intellectual arguments or response videos. He mostly makes videos where he takes memes that have been floating around the internet and forces references to communism into them. The end result isn't funny or entertaining, but it attracts a crowd because it mentions something that appeals to a small group of people. Basically, Batko is the robot chicken of left-wing politics, except unlike Robot Chicken, which is aware of the fact that it's incredibly stupid and most of its audience consists of stoners and weeaboos, Batko does this because he thinks that he's promoting an ideology. The problem here that comes with this is that because there's no substance to anything that he posts, I can't make a response to it because there are no ideas being presented to criticize. I do have to admit it's a decently clever propaganda tactic, and if I didn't have anything remotely resembling intellectual substance to any of my ideas, I'd possibly consider doing something similar. However, we're unfortunately not going to be discussing ideas today, because apparently Batko's gotten onto the recent dogpile of leftist lunacy attacking me for simply mentioning that there are people looking into some activity some members of the leftist community online have been involved in. Essentially, a few friends have uncovered a series of Discord servers where various groups and members of the far left online engage in unethical, devious, or otherwise nefarious activity. And, of course, they didn't take this sitting down. Now being that we've given a general time frame for the release date of the full data drop we've gathered, you'd think that they'd be a little bit more creative with their attempts at damage control, or maybe for once they'd have some humility and figure that the best course of action for themselves would be to open up on what's happened and maybe provide some context. But no, that's not what they did at all. Instead, being the absolute card sharks that they are, the narrative that they've been throwing around is that it's all a lie and I, for some reason, am guilty of the exact things which have been brought to light by their own activity. And to clarify, the people I'm referring to who have been crafting this narrative are three users: Pierre Trudank, Democratic Socialist 01, and of course, Batko. Now, these both are genius tactics, because even before Batko made this video with his friends, all three of them hit me up on Discord, and all three of them had something, shall we say, interesting to add to what they're doing. Democratic Socialist 01 comes right out and tells me that he's going to be taking screenshots out of context and lying about the things I've said to accuse me of things which are expedient to the narrative. Pierre Trudank explains to me that they have absolutely no evidence that I've done anything wrong, but despite this are more than willing to keep acting as if I have to push their narrative. And Batko, who concedes that an actual joke has in fact doxed people in the past, which is something that we didn't even actually know about, but they're going to keep on the hush-hush about that because it's for the narrative. So you gotta understand, guys, we're dealing with some real 4D chess shit right here. It might look like there are a bunch of incompetent spurgs literally handing me things to use against them, but trust me, guys. These arguments in this video, they're 100% credible and completely airtight. And secondly, that they know we have evidence against them and have shown some of it around, which is something that Batko even concedes to with the one screenshot I have provided to show that we have evidence, but their IQ is just seemingly limitless, because given this, they've decided that accusing me of being a liar and claiming that I have no evidence is a smart decision, even though I've already proven that we have evidence and given a release date for when we're going to drop the whole dump. In fact, technically I've already refuted this by providing the one screenshot that I have, but even if we were to disregard the already provided sample of what's to come, all I need to do is actually release some more data and they've completely caved themselves in. It's genius.
Esoteric Entity has accused me, An Actual Joke, Mexi, Democratic Socialist 01, and ThoughtSlime of taking part in a doxing server, which is headed by An Actual Joke, and accused ThoughtSlime of pedophilia. Now, accusing me of taking part of quote-unquote doxing servers is nothing really new.
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. You've taken part in doxing servers before. Specifically, you were in Crownton T's doxing server. This, by the way, is not a baseless accusation because there's documented proof that you were in fact there. Plus, you even admitted to me that you were there when I called you out on it. Now you're trying to imply that any accusation that you've been involved in a doxing server is just a baseless lie, despite the fact that I can prove it? I think Batko may not understand what defending himself from criticism means, because every time he opens his mouth he makes it 10 times worse for himself. We're not even to the things that I've been accused of yet, and he's already demonstrated that he's a liar who can't be trusted, that his evidence is knowingly manipulated, and admits that the person whose server we're looking into, that the people we're looking into, have already done similar sketchy things in the past.
He is an ANCAP YouTuber who takes pride in owning the commies with facts and logic. However, argue with him and you'll realize he's severely lacking both.
Coming from the guy who claims that the National Parliament of Ukraine came after the Free Territory, despite the fact that Rada was one of the first things that Makhno did when the Free Territory movement took over Ukraine, and argues against rationalism because retarded Santa Claus says that humans and ants have the same brains, and to trust him because he's a science man. This being despite the fact that basic looks into the biological differences between humans and ants can tell you that they're two different types of creatures, and no legitimate scientist worth their salt would compare ants to humans because ants and humans have no common ancestors and therefore aren't comparable even on a genetic scale. This is the reason why most scientific tests performed on animals are performed on either rats, monkeys, or rabbits, because humans have a common, albeit distant, common ancestor with all three of them.
On the 19th of June this year, I was awoken on ThoughtSlime revealing that he had been accused of pedophilia and other leftist YouTubers were responsible for taking part in An Actual Jokes Discord server. Now, this is a bit funny as neither Mexi or myself had been in any server owned by An Actual Joke.
And if you look at my actual accusation, I didn't say An Actual Joke's Discord server was the only Discord server. In fact, I've made it pretty clear with everyone I've discussed the findings with that this activity is taking place over a series of Discord servers, with An Actual Jokes being the main one of interest. But since you're getting to the point where we're going to start twisting things around, I'm going to be presenting some evidence today. Because thanks to the stir you and your friends have caused, you've made it an opportune time for us to release some of the stuff that we have to prove that this is legitimate and absolutely BTFO you. So I'm presenting a series of screenshots today from our data leak. They're arranged in a tiered category. The first being sketchy but not overtly going to cost them. This is activities such as organizing raids, false flagging, etc. The reason that these are considered tame is because people on the left do this all the time. The second tier is intermediate stuff. Sketchy, and most people probably wouldn't want it to be known publicly that they're involved with this sort of activity, but their reputation might survive with some apologetics and serious ass-kissing. So doxing and that sort of shit. The third tier, and the one which we unfortunately by far have the most amount of evidence for, is sketchy activity which is guaranteed to not only destroy their reputation, but also more than likely drive them off the internet permanently and possibly could even lead to incarceration. So, we'll start with the first tier. So this is where the first preview screenshot of people in an actual Jokes Discord server were being organized to flag down someone's Twitter account. And the most hilarious part about this by far is that the initial reaction from them upon hearing about the fact that we have evidence against them was to flag down any content made by anybody talking about it. So in order to try and prove that they don't organize raids and falsely flag people's content, they're gonna organize raids and falsely flag any content which exposes them for doing it. I wish I was capable of thinking of such intelligent, witty decisions which totally aren't even remotely ironic to defend myself. We also have Batko himself organizing a raiding server specifically against me, and what's funny about this is that this post was made on June 5th, and even after his 2 videos and half a month, my ratings haven't been affected. So that's some pretty interesting stuff for somebody who has 13,000 subscribers. However, I've done some digging around for a while here, and I found some very interesting things. This is what Batko's real-time sub count looks like. Every night around midnight, he gains a spike of subs within a period of exactly 1 second, which is around 80 to 100 subscribers constantly. Weird, right? 80 to 100 people subscribing all within the exact same second in the middle of the night almost every night. Well, even more interesting, if you look at his live sub count, he's mostly losing subs. Batko, you wouldn't possibly happen to be botting, would you? How could such an esteemed individual who has the tactical foresight of a goldfish and provides people he's slandering with evidence to be used against you? Well, there are also several days missing from your ratings, which is not a bug, as you can see by the fact that when you check other channels' ratings, all the days are present. And in case you were wondering, no, the live subscriber count does not typically boost all of your day's subs at once. This is an occurrence which is exclusive to Batko's channel. So, is that the reason this smear campaign has been mostly ineffective? Because no one except for a few hundred people actually watches your shitty content? And we have Tovarish Boot trying to solicit nudes from me. More on this in a moment, because a large part of this smear campaign involves this individual, but that's its own topic entirely. But I do like how one of their main accusations against me is that I have nudes and was threatening to release them. That's completely toothless, but here we have them trying to solicit nudes from me. So, moving on to Tier 2. Yeah, it should be telling that there wasn't much tame stuff that we uncovered. Anyway, here we have Democratic Socialist 01 very explicitly attempting to obtain a dox from a private Discord conversation. Pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, I don't really think there's much I need to say about this. Here is Democratic Socialist 01 soliciting a dox of people whom he acknowledges are high school students and threatening to get them expelled because they made a troll account making fun of him and made videos criticizing him. Yeah, threatening to ruin the lives of some kids because they make fun of you on the internet. What a nice guy. Doesn't he just sound like a blast to hang out with at parties? This isn't leaked information per se, but here's Thought Slime editing the rules on his server to include, quote, nothing illegal, specifically noting that he changed the rules because people were taking screenshots of things people were saying on his server and doing things that were illegal. He also banned Comrade Kalishnikov for absolutely no reason. So if it wasn't already pretty concrete that Thought Slime straight up admits that people were doing illegal things in his server and had to change the rules as a result because people were leaking the chat logs, the fact that they're banning people for no reason who aren't even involved should also raise some eyebrows. This is not the behavior of an innocent person. And now on to Tier 3. This isn't something that we leaked, but it is something that we came across which the leftist community online has been actively trying to bury. And that is an erotic roleplay between Finnish Bolshevik, Jason Unruh, and Endymion, and about 10 other people in their Discord server in which Finnish Bolshevik rapes and murders a little girl. Yeah, not just pedophilia, but homicidal pedophilia. It's not enough to fuck kids, you gotta kill them too. That's what gets these people off. Oh, and not only did Finnish Bolshevik Jason Unruh and Endymion masturbate to a group erotic roleplay about raping and murdering a little girl, Democratic Socialist 01 came out to defend them on Twitter! And here's the reaction to these logs initially being leaked on Reddit. The reason this didn't take off is because it was censored immediately by the mods and the thread was locked. Here we have a pedophile from Thought Slime's Discord server flirting with someone who he knows is a minor and asking to solicit pictures of him and talking about sex in detail. So, we have plenty more of this to come. As mentioned, we have several gigabytes of data collected of nothing but crap like this, which is a lot of goddamn evidence. Now can you see why it was such a bafflingly stupid move to accuse us of lying and not having evidence? Because now they've got some explaining to do that I've actually released some more evidence, and they've already demonstrated that they're more than willing to lie to their audience for their own convenience. But anyway, let's get back to the video because I'm sure that Comrade Foot-and-Mouth over here's got more airtight marvels of logical architect to sift through.
In a talk with an actual joke, she gave me logs to show that I haven't even been in her server. Hell, I haven't even been invited into the welcome log. Furthermore, although Democratic Socialist 01 was in a server owned by an actual joke, he left in January of this year. But regardless of this fact, Esoteric Entity insisted I'm in a doxing server that has been owned by an actual joke, along with leftist YouTubers.
Nowhere in the screenshot you just provided did I say or imply that you were in a server owned specifically by an actual joke, merely that you were involved in some of the evidence that we collected, which I have proof of.
So, why would Esoteric Entity accuse me of being part of a Discord server I'm not a part of, and accuse me of doxing? Could it be that Esoteric Entity, who absolutely hates my guts, is a liar?
Yes, because it's not like you don't give me a reason to dislike you. I mean, I'm quite literally responding to a video series where you attempt to assassinate my character and accuse me of things I've never done, all because I happen to mention that I know people are going through your little servers. Ultimately, the only people that you should be upset with are yourselves for becoming such rotten and shitty people who do the things that we've exposed you're doing, let alone someone who's only involved to be the messenger's platform.
But wait a minute, fellas. This is getting interesting. What's strange about this is that Esoteric Entity seems to hate the idea of doxing and spreading nudes, but with a bit of digging on Discord, we found these.
I have 2 videos explaining those already. Link will be located in the description to both. Unsurprisingly, the people who told me that they're going to lie and take things I've said out of context deliberately to slander me and admit that they have nothing on me, have taken things I've said out of context deliberately and attempted to slander me with them.
Now, Esoteric Entity later stated that this was out of self-defense, as he was being targeted and harassed online.
That's not what I said. What I said was that somebody had come into my server and was spreading what they believed to be personal information of mine. And I looked at their profile and saw their Steam account was linked up to their Discord account, which had a significant deal of their personal information located in the description of it. I was merely pointing this out to him and saying that I could deal damage with it. I was not threatening him. Hey, I mean, a known liar lying about my response? Why would I have expected any different?
Esoteric Entity was willing to leak the nudes of a person named ANCAP Girl as an act of revenge. Now, Esoteric Entity tried to contextualize this in a recent video that he uploaded, which plays as follows.
Old screenshots, which again are completely out of context, and he and other leftists on Twitter are perverting what I said and accusing me of some nasty shit. I've made several posts about both, so I'll keep it simple. The one referring to ANCAP chick was in response to Voltaire saying something incredibly autistic in a similar vein to the Navy SEAL copy pasta, because Darth Revan had pissed him off, which ANCAP chick wasn't in the server at the time to see. She came back in and wondered what had transpired, and I sent this message to her to paraphrase what Voltaire had said in a comedically exaggerated way.
However, the evidence that we have paints a rather different picture.
And here is where their desperation clearly kicked in, and just started making shit up which they didn't even try to make seem legitimate. Well, first of all, these screen caps which are being leaked by somebody named Tavarish Boot are laughably fake, and I've already proven this on multiple occasions. I've color corrected one of the screenshots which Boot provided and shown that it's fake by demonstrating that there's more than one layer on the image. I've also taken a short clip here of the entire chat log I had with this sock account, where I show that there are a whole hell of a lot of attempts to solicit sexual information out of me, but I said nothing. Boot recorded a similar clip in which he literally had the Inspect Element tab still open on his browser before recording the clip. So Boot is somebody who's provably lied about the information they're spreading about me on multiple instances. Now, there are some of you who may be wondering if I used Inspect Element to record that clip. Well, no, obviously I didn't, as I can prove by going back a page and going forward again, where you can see that the page didn't change, meaning that I could not have edited that with Inspect Element.
Seem willing to support this, and as you can tell, the fact that he's trying to keep this on the low really does give insight to the absolute shitheel this little doxing hypocrite truly is.
I tried to keep it on the down low because I knew that if a fuckhead like you saw it, you'd do exactly what you've done now, which is take it out of context and use it to slander me.
But to show how much of a brainlet he is, what's funnier is that Esoteric Entity suspected that the leftist YouTubers listed in this server were responsible for the attack of an LGBTQ artist. However, not only is this statement an outright lie,
it's not a lie because I never made a claim. As you show with your own screenshot, all I said was, we're looking into it as of now, but it looks like it could be possible.
there is little to no evidence that Esoteric Entity E has on us. There is little to no evidence that Esoteric Entity E has on us. There is little to no evidence that Esoteric Entity E has on us. There is little to no evidence that Esoteric Entity E has on us. There is little to no evidence that Esoteric Entity E has on us for being involved in the attack on this artist, or that me and Mexi were involved in any servers owned by an actual joke. Really speaks volumes on how low this little shit cunt is willing to go.
Coming from someone who, in an attempt to damage control what we have on you, used an edited screenshot talking about the size of my penis. How do you not just constantly have your hands glued to your forehead in shame over the person you are?
Now, when I looked at these posts leaking from his server, I discovered that the keeper of this quote-unquote data that wouldn't be released until July was none other than Operation Anarchism, otherwise known as Blue, or as he's known on YouTube, Operation Bluism. Now what's strange about this is Esoteric Entity is keen on giving the evidence to Mr. Dapperton to use this as a form of slander against leftist YouTubers.
Oh, so by airtight, what your little friend meant was that you've created bullshit non-arguments which are rhetorically structured to be impossible to falsify. Okay, I get it. So, if I don't present any evidence, then I'm making a baseless claim, which is bullshit. But somehow, even though Batko's never seen it and doesn't know what I have, he somehow knows that if I even do have evidence, it's fake, which leads him to the same conclusion.
It was later revealed with discussions with Twist, who took the photo that I presented a few seconds earlier, and other members of the Crossroads, that Ancom received the message from Blue. Now, why would someone make a photoshopped image of Mexi and Badmouse, the former of which is listed in one of the members of the so-called doxing server that is run by an actual joke? Now, if any of you are aware with my comments on Operation Anarchism, you would know that from my previous video, which was my second Q&A, that he actually congratulated fascists on killing pro-idpol leftists. And Mexi, coincidentally enough, happens to be pro-idpol. Let that sink in.
So you have no evidence for any of the things you've just accused Operation Anarchism of, and even in your own screenshots you're completely full of shit, and the people he happens to be exposing are people he doesn't particularly like? Shit, man, you should go be a professional journalist. I'm sure BuzzFeed would love to hire you.
Now that's one instance of Operation Anarchism photoshopping evidence. However, it doesn't stop there. Due to Ninja being nothing short of a liar, as well as an outright racist, as well as false flagging videos you can imagine, he copped a lot of criticism from his fellow comrades. So much so that he literally forged a legal document. Now, How, you may ask, is this document fake? Well, aside from the poor grammar, the poorly made logo, very, very official, and the fact that the grounds made in this document would basically lead to every single political YouTuber or personality being taken down on YouTube, I did a bit of looking into the company of Griffin Lawyers. Now, despite there being an actual Griffin Lawyers in America, where Operation Anarchism is stationed, I found no specialities of theirs that will deal with defamations via YouTube, only that they specialize in personal injury, workers' compensation, social security disability, or wrongful death. Also, according to people who knew him, including Welcome to Late Stage Capitalism, he not only admitted to faking the document, but would later go on the epitome of damage control and get someone to actually LARP as a quote-unquote lawyer in a live stream that he hosted.
So you're not even faking screenshots anymore, you're just taking hearsay and demonstrating that you have an understanding of speciality which is about as coherent as your understanding of political philosophy and economics.
However, impersonating and faking news about other leftist YouTubers isn't necessarily something that's exclusive to Operation Anarchism alone, as Esoteric Entity has been known to impersonate other leftists online. An example of this can be seen in a video made by Right Wing Watch.
So I woke up this morning.
Oh my god, no! I'm not impersonating them because it's obvious that it's a fake account. It's a joke! A joke. I even outright said that it was intended as such. The only thing you've proven with this is that you're either autistic or this is yet another attempt to lie and take one of my glorious shitposting exploits out of context and accuse me of something I didn't do. In fact, even in Right Wing Watch's own video, the one you cited, you can very clearly see my Twitter post where I show the blank Right Wing Watch account I created with the caption, "About to commence in some epic trolling."
However, it doesn't stop there, comrades, as Esoteric Entity was also known to impersonate Democratic Socialist 01, and when he was confronted with this and being proved that this was an impersonating account, he later wound up deleting.
That's not true. It served the same purpose as the Right Wing Watch account, and when I was confronted about it, I said the same thing I said about the Right Wing Watch account. The reason that the channel was removed is because it was tied to the same Google account I ran my first channel on, which, as most of you may know, was suspended for revealing some edgy truths about the Parkland shooting.
The fake channel. Now, come on, Esoteric Entity! Taking a screen cap 1 second after the comment has been posted?
That's because I'm not impersonating anyone, you fucking dropkick. You're just too autistic to understand that something can be funny through absurdity.
Dear me. So, as we can see, both Operation Anarchism and Esoteric Entity are willing to fake evidence in order to further their political goals, to slander their opposition to take them out of the competition. However, this raises another question. Why would Esoteric Entity and Operation Anarchism not release data immediately if they knew about a doxing server, which, again, I have proved that I am not, along with some other YouTubers, a part of, and release said info until July?
That's a good question, and it was a choice that Blue made because he wanted time to hype it up, and the hype was intended to attract more attention. But because you responded, we've moved forward the release date. Within the next week, Blue is going to drop the first data dump, and we'll have a podcast with everyone who is involved in spreading it around or taking evidence, including yours truly. And we'll be discussing all of the findings live in one stream. The stream will be hosted on Blue's channel, which is Operation Blueism, located in the description. So, back on to Batko before I end the video. You know, buddy, what I love about this whole situation is that you and your friends could have possibly played on some excuses to give yourselves plausible deniability. Perhaps Boot was just giving you some fake evidence and you didn't know it was fake, or you jumped to a few conclusions out of anger, but no. You three had to get hopped up on a fucking ego trip over making a video attacking me, and you revealed your plans right to me. All you had to do was keep your goddamn mouth shut, and I would have had a hell of a time proving that this was nothing more than a smear campaign intended to deflect off of what you and your friends were involved in. No matter how you look at it, you screwed yourselves over here. You have no one to be mad at but yourselves, and now your reputations are likely going to be damaged irreparably. This is why you don't lie on the internet, especially when it's drama that's this serious, and your position relies so heavily on the weight of your words, and your audience trusts that your words can be relied upon because they believe you're a credible source. Once you lie, that's it, there goes your position. For my viewers, I'll see you all in the next video. And for the shitheads who just tried to slander me in this smear campaign and got fucking exposed, I'll see you on the backside of history. Sucks, but you've earned your place there. I mean, holy fuck. Do you seriously think you're going to start a legitimate political movement? And one at that which attempts to overthrow the government in a violent revolution, with a group that consists of people who spurg out and threaten kids after they troll him, and pedophiles who get off to murdering and raping little girls. Your group is a fucking joke, and the fact that you have legitimate aspirations you hope to accomplish with it makes it even funnier.